Hello and welcome to my application to be your writing buddy. Yes. Guys, I am on this platform, especially with this book channel, to find my people. Not my people, but yes, to find people that have similar tastes to me, that are in a similar journey, and in the case of this video, who are also amateur writers, potentially with no degree like me, because I don't have a literature degree, I have a psych degree. You know, the choices we make when we are 16? Yeah. Anyway, this is my application to be your writing buddy, and I'm gonna give you kind of some idea of how I write and the kind of ambience I put on to write and stuff like that. And maybe you would be interested in being a writing buddy. How we'll accomplish this? Not sure, but onto the video. Very quickly, I write usually either in silence with piano music going. I have this one soundtrack that I listen over and over again, and it's from this TV show, The Loop, or On the Loop, with the Loop, something about the Loop. And actually, let me check on my Spotify. What is his name? Philip Glass is the name of the guy behind the soundtrack. I love Philip Glass. So I listen to silence music, or sometimes, guys, sometimes I put on some media. What media do I put on? I think it depends on the season, because in the winter and autumn, it's been the TV show Wednesday for some reason. I think it's because she writes a lot in it, but it's just a perfect ambiance for me to write. I know this is a little strange, but I've also been writing strange stories, so. And in the summer and spring, I put on this French film from the 60s called La Collectionneuse. I don't know how to speak French. The Collector in English. It's a 3-hour film, mostly takes place in this kind of like summer town. I think it has the ocean or a lake nearby or a river. And it's perfect. It's the perfect ambiance. So that's the stuff I use to write. Silence, some piano music, or media in the background. And I usually write for a few hours at a time, but I'm the kind of person that kind of gets in the flow. Do you know that theory of the flow, that when you are in the flow, like you can do something for hours and hours and hours on end without going to the bathroom, without eating, without even getting up? That's me. So usually I either write in the morning, in the afternoon. I never write a full day, and I never really write that many days in a row together. I used to, but it gets to a point where you just get a little burned out. So these days I write about 3-4 half days in a week, and usually for about 3 or 4 hours. Yeah, without getting up. I go to the bathroom sometimes. So that's kind of like my setup. As for how I'm writing, I have a lot of projects. Like I am not working on one single story at a time, especially because I'm one of those people who needs distance from a story to then go back to it and be able to do edits and to do changes and to correct things. Because if I'm too much in the story, I will, one, think that everything is a mistake and that it's trash, and two, not have the kind of outside viewer perspective of being able to read it more impartially. So I need distance. So I work on a lot of different projects at once. Like, I'm not even joking. It's like 10 to 15 different projects at once. Of course, focusing on maybe 3 or 4 more than any others, but it's always on the back of my mind, everything that I have, because it's just so much fun. And especially with early drafts, when I'm still like figuring out the story. For long stories, I take a long time. Like a while ago, I finished the draft of a book that I'm writing. It's going to be a very short book, like 200-300 pages most. And I was still finishing the first draft before I even really knew what the story was. Like I had an idea of what I wanted to do with the styling of the book. I had an idea with what I wanted to say, but I didn't really have the idea of the setting. Like, you know how Ishiguro talks about Never Let Me Go, that the idea of making it speculative fiction was like the very last thing because it just needed a perfect setting to tell that story and to pass that message or to explore the idea of mortality and all that stuff. That's kind of how it was. Like, I wanted to explore a theme and a certain amount of ideas and pass a certain message, but I didn't exactly know the perfect setting for it. But as I went to the end, as I started finishing the first draft, it just came to me. It aligned perfectly with what I needed. So yeah, I'm currently working on that bigger project. I have 2 other like potential projects for full length novels, but they're more in the background these days. And then I'm working on short fiction, either novella, one novella or novelette maybe, a lot of short fiction, some flash fiction, and no micro at the time. So that's what I'm working on. And apart from just regular normal fiction, I'm also always working on my poems because I write poetry as well. I know it's a weird thing to write poetry and fiction. Get with it. That's what I do. I don't have any education, any formal education, so I'm just like literally a rat running around thinking she knows what she's doing. So yeah, while I'm working on all of these stories on the side, I also work on poems. I haven't really written much of my poetry to make it specifically for like a poetry collection or a poetry book, but there is one specific idea for a poetry book that I did specifically to be a book, to be a group of poems to put together in just that little book. And this is the one I'm returning to. I wrote it last year, actually around this time, but it's a book that is very politically charged. It's completely about the political and economic situation of my country right now. And at the time, I just didn't know how to finish it because we had a really rough year last year with politics, and it's getting worse this year. But we have presidential elections next year. We have a lot of elections in the meantime because our government fell. And it's returning. Like the ending for that book that I want is getting closer. So I'm starting to work on it again. But I also work on a lot of different other poems, and I have certain clusters of poems that I've put together because they are exploring similar themes or they are about a similar situation. So yeah, as you can see, not a lot of organization, but a lot of ideas and a lot of writing. Like, I've been in a writing frenzy for the past few weeks where anytime I get down to write, it just goes. And yeah, I submitted a short story a few weeks ago. I'm getting ready, probably will submit it today, a flash fiction little story. And I'm working on a few others because the ideas just come to my mind. So that's me. That's my writing setup. That's how I write my projects. One last thing. I do a lot of paper drafts before I put everything on my computer. Anywhere between 3 to 6 drafts on paper before I write it on the computer. And then even in the computer, I do maybe 3 or 4 extra drafts for the stories. So I know that's a lot, but it works for me, guys. It works for me. So yeah, that's me. Let me know if you want to be my writing buddy. I'm actually very serious about this. Maybe, and especially if you have a booktube channel as well, maybe we can do, I don't know, live writing session or something. But I really want a writing buddy, not only to write together and to have kind of this feeling of companionship in the art of writing, but also to discuss the process, to discuss everything about it. Like, I haven't had really anybody who can relate to what I'm going through, to what I'm feeling about this, because I had a career in something else completely different in psychology, and I have completely given that up. Like, I want to write, period. And I just feel like I need someone else to talk about this stuff about, to discuss this about. I'm not making any sense at this point. I just need someone else to have a conversation about these things, to be able to talk about what it is that I'm going through, because I'm pretty sure that I'm in a point in my life where it's not going to go away. I'm never going to stop writing. It's always going to be here. So I either choose to embrace it and be brave enough to chase it, or I become a coward and I just go back to psychology and live a half-lived life, which I am not and I will not do. So yeah, I feel like I need peers. And I am considering application. I'm considering applying to creative writing programs, but I am very selective. And from what I've seen, the only decent writing program that exists in Portugal is in Lisbon, and I will not move to Lisbon with a gun to my head. So yeah, I'm exploring other options in other countries. And honestly, it's just hard because the political situation that we have in the world today makes things so freaking hard, because there are programs in the US that I find interesting. And there is one specific program that I think I actually have a chance of being selected for, but I wouldn't go there, not with a gun to my head. Not, at least not until Kamala is elected. I'm so sorry to say this, but I will not set foot in that country. It's too goddamn dangerous. So yeah, this is my application for a writing buddy. I'm so sorry that I'm so chaotic and energetic today. I just had my chocolate milk because I'm a child. Yeah, I hope you like the video. Comment if you actually want a writing buddy, because I'm very serious. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye, guys.